Hey there, it's important to remember that just one small mistake while driving can quickly turn a routine trip into a serious issue. It's easy to overlook the little things, but they can make all the difference between safety and disaster. In this video, we're going to check out some intense moments on the road where things went wrong and learn from them. Let's keep in mind that no matter how skilled or experienced we think we are, safety should always be our #1 priority. Take a moment to think about why pedestrians are supposed to stick to the sidewalk. It's a simple rule, but one that can save lives. Pedestrians on the road, especially in busy areas, are at risk from drivers who might not be paying attention. Now imagine this. A driver's quick reflexes, combined with just a moment of luck, can sometimes mean the difference between life and death. In one of the incidents shown here, a driver's sharp skills helped avoid a potentially fatal accident, saving both themselves and everyone else involved. It's the kind of lucky escape we often see in movies, but in reality, these moments are much more fragile than they seem. If there were a Luckiest Person of the Year award, I'd certainly vote for that driver. Another moment that stands out in this video is a lesson in how crucial it is to secure your vehicle properly when loading it onto a transport truck. One mistake there could lead to a disaster, and this serves as a reminder to always double-check before hitting the road. Reckless overtaking is another dangerous habit that can easily lead to accidents. It's not just an unsafe decision, but one that can put countless other lives at risk. When you're on the road, take a deep breath, be patient, and remember that the rules are there for a reason. Prioritize safety at all times, and don't try to cut corners just to save a few seconds. Following traffic rules is one of the simplest ways to avoid accidents. Speaking of rain, it's a critical factor when driving. When the roads are slick, it's vital to slow down. It may feel like you're just taking a little extra time to get where you're going, but the safety of yourself and others is more important than anything else. This video also highlights another key point. Always signal when changing lanes or turning. It's a basic action, but it's often overlooked. Taking that extra second to signal properly can prevent a potentially serious crash. In another clip, a woman survived a terrifying crash. It's a sharp reminder to us all that we need to stay focused at all times while driving. Control your speed, keep your distance from stopped vehicles, and stay alert. If you lose focus, even for a second, it could be the difference between safely navigating a situation or getting caught in an accident. There's also a terrifying near miss where a truck was barreling down the road out of control. Quick thinking and reflexes saved the day in that case, as the driver managed to maneuver just in time to avoid disaster. Speed on highways can be intense, so always ensure you maintain a safe distance and be prepared for the unexpected. And then there's the story of a driver who mistakenly hit the gas pedal instead of the brake, sending their car flying into their own house faster than a delivery. It's a funny moment in hindsight, but it's a solid reminder about staying calm and aware of where you're putting your feet. In stressful moments, staying in control of your car is crucial to avoiding chaos. When you see a driver acting like they own the road, weaving in and out of traffic with no regard for safety, it's both frustrating and dangerous. But what about the risk of black ice? It looks harmless, but black ice is one of the most treacherous conditions a driver can face. It's invisible and often hard to spot until it's too late. Always drive cautiously when it's cold and pay close attention to road conditions. And then there's the case where a BMW is reversing dangerously in traffic, burning rubber. It's shocking, but it's a good reminder to stay vigilant when other drivers are acting recklessly. Never assume that everyone on the road will follow the rules. Sometimes, the safest approach is to give them space. Have you ever seen someone pull the handbrake while driving over a speed bump? It's insane, right? It's one of those moments where you wonder if someone is actually trying to make a stunt out of their everyday drive. But what would you do if you found yourself in that situation? Would you remain calm or panic? We also see a truck hauling an oversized load, only to be cut off by another vehicle. This incident highlights the dangers of cutting off large vehicles, especially when they have heavy loads that make it harder for them to stop or maneuver quickly. It's a classic example of how important it is to be aware of your surroundings and show consideration for larger vehicles on the road, even if you're safely inside. Yeah, the car was definitely in the wrong for making that U-turn. But if you look closely, the biker was speeding as well, and on top of that, they were holding a phone. When you're speeding and distracted like that, there's no way you can react in time to avoid a situation like this. It's a clear reminder that both drivers need to be more careful to avoid accidents. Everyone on the road has a responsibility to keep their distance and stay alert. One mistake can lead to a disaster, so it's crucial to think ahead and drive defensively. Now, when it comes to risky moves on the road, this next moment is something we never recommend trying. It may look cool, but attempting stunts like this is extremely dangerous. If you find yourself in a similar situation, the best course of action is to stay calm and call for roadside assistance rather than trying to fix the problem yourself. Whether it's a flat tire, an engine malfunction, or anything else, having professional help will always be the safer option. Both vehicles involved in this incident were at fault. The motorcyclist switched lanes where it wasn't allowed, and the car made an improper maneuver. What do you think about the situation? Do you think both sides are equally responsible, or is one party more to blame than the other? Feel free to share your thoughts in the comments below. It's like trying to play a video game without a reset button, right? When you run red lights and speed, you're essentially taking chances with other people's lives. These are serious violations, and we really need to take a firmer stance against them to ensure everyone's safety on the road. In the next clip, after a driver had been drinking, they lost control of their vehicle and caused a major accident. Worse still, they fled the scene. Now, not only is the driver facing serious charges, but they're also going to be dealing with the costs of the damages they caused. It's a stark lesson. Never drink and drive. The consequences aren't just legal. They can be deadly. This next incident is almost unbelievable. It's like something straight out of a Hollywood movie. It's hard to imagine that something like this actually happened in real life. The BMW driver probably thought the fence they crashed into was just some decorative barrier. But then, they realized, much too late, that the fence was not there for decoration, and it was very much real. That repair bill? Oh, it's going to be a big one. A pricey one, too. Lesson learned the hard way. Next up, watch out for reckless drivers who make dangerous moves. There's a clip here of a driver passing on the right. Something we all know is dangerous. Fortunately, in this case, the driver walked away from the crash without serious injury. However, it's a good reminder to stay cautious and aware of the rules of the road. Passing on the right can often be an impulsive decision, but it can have serious consequences when things go wrong. It's much safer to stay in your lane and follow the flow of traffic, no matter how impatient you might feel. In another clip, we see a car roll into a lake after the driver forgot to pull the handbrake. It's a classic example of how one little mistake can lead to a big mess. In this case, the car had to roll into the lake to cool off the engine. The incident could have been avoided with a simple action: pulling the handbrake. It's a small thing that makes a big difference in ensuring that your vehicle stays where you leave it. Now, if it's snowing outside, it's always best to stay inside unless you absolutely need to go out. The roads get slick and treacherous during snowstorms, and if you don't have to be on the road, stay off it. There's nothing worse than trying to drive in these conditions, and it's incredibly dangerous for both you and other drivers. In this video, a driver faced a very close call in snowy conditions, but miraculously, they managed to avoid disaster. This is a perfect example of how fast reactions can save lives when faced with a challenge on the road. When it comes to car maintenance, let this be a clear message: it's not optional, it's a must. Regular checks can prevent your car from breaking down at the worst possible time. In one of the clips, the result of poor maintenance led to a chain reaction that caused a crash. It wasn't just the damage to the vehicles. It created chaos throughout the entire city. Imagine how much soap and effort it'll take to clean up that mess. Keeping your vehicle in tip-top shape can help you avoid accidents and stay safe on the road. Speaking of safety, make sure to always maintain a safe distance, especially when working near construction zones. You never know when something might go wrong, and the last thing you want is to be caught too close to a potentially dangerous situation. This next clip shows how risky it can be to be in the vicinity of large vehicles like trucks, especially those carrying bulky items.